On this episode of China Uncensored, don't worry, the Chinese military has you covered. Welcome back to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Plarf! No, I'm not celebrating 25 years of Pinky and the Brain. I'm talking about the Chinese Communist Party's People's Liberation Army Rocket Force. New satellite photos have emerged of a Plarf base in China's Sichuan province. And what does the People's Liberation Army Rocket Force plan to do tonight? The same thing it does every night. Try to take over the world. Well, not the world, but possibly part of India. China's Sichuan province is, of course, a short distance from the Arunachal Pradesh, territory disputed by both India and the Chinese regime. According to The Print, this new Chinese base could potentially support a brigade-sized intercontinental ballistic missile formation capable of covering all of India, the Indian Ocean region, as well as large parts of continental America. Reports of the new base come just a few months after the 10th successful test of China's latest and most powerful ICBM, the DF41. According to video from state-run People's Daily, the DF41 is capable of carrying up to 10 nuclear warheads with a range of about 7,500 miles. With that kind of range, a DF41 launched from Sichuan is capable of traveling around the globe, or across the flat Earth disk if that's your thing, to strike the continental United States. Also, it can hit India, which is way closer. But India isn't exactly a sitting duck, or sitting cow, or elephant, whatever the appropriate sitting animal is in this scenario. Earlier this year, India tested its own nuclear-capable missile that could hit anywhere in China. Then in March, China sold Pakistan a powerful tracking system in an unprecedented deal that could speed up the Pakistani military's development of multi-warhead missiles, which was then later followed by China's DF41 test and news of the new missile garrison. And this is just the latest development in a long history of bad nuclear family relations. China and India have the two largest populations in Asia, and the nations often compete for the same sphere of influence. Plus, they both have nukes. But really, is that any reason they couldn't still be friends? After all, China's foreign minister says that India's elephant and China's dragon should dance instead of fight. How would that work? Would it look something like this? Unfortunately, in the past, India and China have been more interested in fighting than dancing. China and India fought a brief but bloody war in 1962 over disputed territory, and they still periodically have confrontations over the same territory, like the longer, but fortunately not bloody confrontation last summer.
Its personnel were caught on camera jostling with Indian troops, sometime in second week of June across the ILAC in Sikkim.
That standoff lasted over 70 days, and in that entire time, no one thought to have a dance. Really. But the Chinese Communist Party has been patiently working to weaken and surround India. China is allegedly the principal opponent to India's bid for the United Nations Security Council membership, and it has also been opposing India's entry at the Nuclear Suppliers Group. India wants a voice in that influential nuclear group. According to the Arms Control Association, India has around 140 nukes. For its part, India is one of the rare countries in the region that doesn't support China's Belt and Road Initiative. That's where the Chinese regime builds infrastructure in other countries, gets them in debt, and then occasionally forces them to establish potential Chinese military bases. That's called the string of pearls theory. And look, it just so happens they all surround the Indian Ocean. But it's not like the Chinese Communist Party is going to try to make a move on the Indian Ocean, right? I mean, the China Ocean has a ring to it. Well, not so much a ring as a string of pearls. Maybe we've been looking at this problem all wrong. Why should India and China have to choose between dancing and fighting, when they could just dance and fight at the same time? Now that's a dance-off. Then again, with India and China both able to cover each other in nuclear missiles, the fate of the world should probably depend on more than just Great choreography. I think I'm ready for new world leadership. So what do you think of China's new missile base? What is the risk to India? Leave your comments below. And before you go, it's time to answer a question from a fan who supports China Uncensored on the crowdfunding website Patreon. Jonathan Swanberg asks, with the United States announcing its United States Space Force, do you think China will follow suit? I mean, they already have a frickin' laser in the works. Is this just wishful thinking for someone who wants to join the Space Marines? Great question. Back in 2014, there were rumors that the Chinese military was going to establish a space force, but those rumors were never confirmed. But regardless, the Chinese space program is already a branch of the military, the Chinese Communist Party's military. And they're already weaponizing space, like with frickin' lasers, as you pointed out. And I assume they believe Mars has belonged to China since ancient times, because it is called the Red Planet. Anyway, in my view, the US sees the Chinese regime's space plans as a real threat, and is responding to that by establishing the US Space Force. But Jonathan, trust me, you don't want to join the Space Marines. It's not going to be pretty once you have to fight the aliens. Thanks for your question, Jonathan. Remember, China Uncensored is made possible by the support from you, my amazing fans. So if you can, consider supporting China Uncensored through our Patreon website. You'll have a chance to get your questions answered on the show and get some neat stuff for your support. Once again, thanks for watching this episode of China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. See you next time. Want to learn more about China? Go to ChinaUncensored.tv. We have full half-hour episodes there every Friday. You can also watch our TV show on the China Uncensored app on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV.